Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome, my Sipping Streams Tea Tribe, for another amazing episode about tea. And today we're going to be talking specifically about our organic jasmine pearls green tea. So there's jasmine green tea, there's green tea, and there's jasmine, but they're not all the same. You can have jasmine that is just infused jasmine flowers. You can have green tea that is just green tea. You can have jasmine that is with and blended with green tea and loose leaf. And then you can have something that's completely different called jasmine pearls, which is scented with jasmine flowers. So there's a huge difference and a huge range of what this jasmine green tea category is called. If you're watching, say hello. Let me know what you're drinking, where you're watching from around the world, because this is live. And let me know if you have any questions at all, or if you're watching it on the replay. I'd love to know if you have any questions about what we're going over today. But today specifically, we're going over our organic jasmine pearls green tea, which is a really nice organic hand-rolled green tea that has been scented with flowers. Now, what is a hand-rolled tea? Well, we have several different kinds here today. I have our jasmine pearls green tea. So we have our jasmine pearls green tea. It's very, very small. We have the blooming art tea, very, very large in comparison. So much more weight per item. And then we have our hand-rolled first flush Darjeeling black tea, very much in between the blooming art tea, which is the flowering tea, and the jasmine pearls green tea. These are all artisanally hand done. So these are very different. We have a green tea, we have another green tea, and we have a black tea. So I have some glass containers to show you the difference of all of them. And they'll be very, very beautiful to watch. So we're going to put a serving of that in an 8-ounce glass. We're going to put a serving, well, not a serving, but this is usually makes a whole pot of tea. This is a lot of weight. Let's weigh this out and see how much tea this actually is. Because usually it's 2.5 grams per 8 ounces of water. So that is 7 grams. So it's almost 3 cups of tea that it will make. Well, unfortunately, we can't divide it. So we're just going to put the whole thing in the glass. I'm going to have this glass clear cup so you can see it flower open. And we're going to weigh out our jasmine pearls green tea for a single serving of 2.5 grams. And let's see how many pearls it takes to make that. Let's see. Maybe it's so light that it's not changing the weight. So just a few pearls, maybe about 5 pearls, okay? I'm going to put it in the glass mug, and I'm going to put in different water in all of these so you can see. So we're going to start off with our black tea. Now, these are not all with jasmine in them. And I want you to see how they open up and infuse, because the jasmine pearls tea is not just hand rolled, it actually doesn't have any jasmine flowers in it. Well, what does that mean that there's no jasmine flowers in it? I thought jasmine was a flower. Why do they not add it to the tea? Well, tea is very absorbent in odors, in aromas, in fragrances. So you can scent teas by putting trays on these bamboo circle trays of green tea, and during the drying process, the air withering process, then you put another rack of bamboo tray of jasmine flowers, and then you put another tray of green tea, and then another tray of jasmine flowers, and you let them sit out on these bamboo racks, and the green tea absorbs the beautiful aroma of jasmine flowers. So as you see here, this black tea, this first flush Darjeeling black tea that's hand rolled, is slowly opening and infusing. Then we have this other green tea, which is starting to flower open, and it's not just green tea, but it's got a lily flower in there, and it also has some jasmine flowers in there. So it'll totally taste different because it's not just jasmine, and it's not just lily, and it's not just green tea, and the flowers are actually in this. And as you see this one open up, you'll see that the leaves will get bigger and bigger, and there's no jasmine flowers in it. It's just hand rolled tea leaves into these tiny, tiny pearls. So what does that mean? So jasmine green tea traditionally is scented. It is the most famous scented green tea. So why do you find flowers in it sometimes? Well, it's easier to make it that way. It's less expensive, and typically that's not very traditional. So if it takes up a lot of flowers to absorb the aroma, it's going to be a more costly, expensive tea. But not only that, when you let the aroma and the essential oils of the jasmine flowers penetrate and be absorbed into the green tea, it's going to last, steeping out of steeping out of steeping. Have you ever had a hibiscus and it was just gone after 1 or 2 steepings? That flavor's gone from the flower because it's so thin. Its petals are so thin. Well, if you take something thick and leathery like the tea plant itself, that thick, leathery leaf has a lot of substance to it. And so when it's being scented by hundreds and thousands of jasmine flowers to absorb it, it's absorbing those essential oils and its essence into its core of those thick, leathery leaves. And not only that, with jasmine pearls being very, very tightly rolled, the aroma and the fragrance and the flavor stay inside of the pearls a lot longer. Like I've mentioned it before, when you have a tea that is very tightly rolled, like a tikuanyin or a jasmine pearl, it actually holds in the essential oils and the aromas in naturally a lot better, like its own vacuum sealing on itself. So that's why you'll find a jasmine pearl green tea will be way more expensive than green tea with jasmine flowers just thrown into it. There's a huge difference. And when you steep a green tea that has jasmine flowers in it and mixed in it, it looks really pretty, but its flavor doesn't last steep after steep. And as you know from Sipping Streams Tea Company, most of our teas you can re-steep up to 4 times, some up to 8 times. So it makes a huge difference on the artistry and the value and the quality of the tea. Hey, thank you so much for joining us from Alaska. I see some people joining us and drinking some pu'er tea. So this tea, jasmine, you'll see how large these leaves are getting. Now I'm definitely oversteeping it, but I just want you to see the agony of the leaves and them opening up. Every single pearl, there was just a pearl that just dropped, has actually 3 tea leaves attached. They're very, very long. There's a bud. I don't know if you can see this very well. I will try to lay it down on a plate for you. And we'll switch the cameras so you can see that better. There is a bud. It's very tippy, and a leaf, and a leaf. So each one of these pearls is literally 3 tea leaves in one. 3 tea leaves in one. So there's a lot of care that goes into the quality of the tea itself before it's even turned into jasmine pearls. So some people wonder why our tea at Sipping Streams is so expensive, especially the jasmine pearls. And that's why. It's because, first of all, A, it has extremely high quality tea leaves. B, it's been hand rolled. And C, it has been cared for and taken extreme time to absorb the essence and the aroma and the essential oil of hundreds of thousands of jasmine flowers. So steep after steep after steep, it will taste like jasmine. And jasmine flowers are very aromatic. In traditional Chinese teas, that's usually something that they'll gift you for like a very fancy tea if they want to impress you and you've come to visit a friend in China. They'll usually give you jasmine tea for some reason. I'm not exactly sure the tradition, but over and over again, that's the number one tea I am gifted. And maybe it's because it's extremely popular and famous, and probably because it's usually expensive. So if if you're Chinese, you totally know what I mean. They kind of regift the tea. So sometimes your tea is not very good by the time you've had it because it might have been regifted for over 10 years, which is very unfortunate, but kind of a funny quirk about Chinese people. So, yeah, one person said, I love the jasmine pearls. Now drinking lavender yerba mate this afternoon. Now, with the hand rolled Darjeeling, this is just a black tea. This is just a black tea, and they're not necessarily made with two leaves and a bud, and they have not opened up all the way either. It is a compressed, hand rolled ball of many leaves where the jasmine pearls has had the time and care to use just that one plucking, that single plucking to hand roll into a little ball and tied up with a little piece of cotton or some paper, some tissue paper, and dried. So it stays perfect in that pearl shape. And you want to find extremely round looking pearls because the tighter they are, the better you know its freshness will last over the years. And the typical shelf life of a tea is 3 to 5 years. Well, if it's all loosey goosey and it doesn't look that tight and it looks kind of sloppy, it's opened more a little bit. It's a little looser, less tight, and those essential oils will leak out of it. So you never want to open a tea container and just waft all the wonderful aroma. You want to save it for when you're savoring the flavor and the taste when you're preparing a cup of tea. Now, what are some typical health benefits that you get in jasmine green tea? Well, one thing that it's known for is that it is green tea. It is green tea, so it's going to have all those health benefits of green tea. And depending on the quality of your tea leaves, it might be extremely sweet and very potent in its nutrients and antioxidants. So you want to know its tea base. And how do you find out? Usually you steep it and you look at it and you evaluate it that way. Another thing that if it's a high quality tea, an early season picked tea, it will be very potent in caffeine. So it can be very energizing. My mother cannot drink jasmine tea after noon because she is very, very sensitive to to caffeine. And she noticed this because she really likes the jasmine green tea and would want to drink it after she got off of work. But then she felt like really jittery, and maybe it's also because she used too hot of water temperature. But she would also say, oh my goodness, I'm going to stay up all night. I can't fall asleep. So depending on the tea base itself, it could have a lot of caffeine in it, which might be good for you to feel energized, motivated, and very productive and very focused on your day. So that could be a possible benefit. And also, it's been said, I don't know much about the research on this, but over and over again, it has been said for promoting women's health and helping with PMS. So that's another one that I've heard from a lot of Chinese people is that it's great for cramps and PMS. So if you're a woman, that might be beneficial for you. So those are some of the benefits of jasmine pearls green tea. And as you can see right now, it is so beautiful, so huge. And this has definitely been oversteeped, but I just want you to see how large and huge these leaves are, the quality of the leaves, the agony of the leaves dancing around in this beautiful cup. So thank you everyone for joining me for another amazing episode about tea. And as always, please send me your suggestions, your questions, so we can make another educational episode just for you. Thank you so much for joining me today.